million Americans are currently serving on active duty across our nation and in 148 countries around the globe. 1.9 million, that's almost 2 million people, folks, of our military are back home from wars, the recent wars. Nearly 800,000 veterans live in Georgia, and 72,000 Georgians are currently serving in the military, including my own daughter. So we are here to celebrate our veterans today who have so honorably and courageously served our great country, as well as those currently serving. But I especially want to recognize and honor our own GPC veterans today, such as these three. Eugene Anderson, psychology major, U.S. Navy veteran, who doesn't have any veterans benefits remaining, so constantly has to work to find new and creative ways to continue paying for his college, because he's determined, and that's what it takes. Latoya Stewart, health sciences major, currently serving in the U.S. Army in Louisiana, who is taking classes through GPC online while serving on active duty. Now that's devotion and determination. And finally, David Sinnen, engineering major, United States Marine Corps veteran, who this semester is taking classes at Clarkston, Dunwoody, and Decatur campuses. Because if you point veterans in the right direction and simply give them the tools and encouragement they need, they will find a way to make it happen. Because that's what veterans do. David, Latoya, and Jean are just three of the over 1,100 military-related students we have here at GPC, and they are the reasons that I gratefully get up and come to work each day. I want to thank each of them and all veterans for their service on this special day. And before President Rob Watts comes forward to speak to us this morning, who, by the way, truly is our greatest supporter of the student veterans, I want to thank each of you once again for taking time out to honor our veterans today. God bless you all. God bless our great nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Today we honor those who have served. We especially want to remember the 1,711,000 living World War II veterans, 800 of whom are passing away every day, and the 2,275,000 Korean War veterans, and the 7,391,000 Vietnam-era veterans, and the 2,244,000 living Gulf-era veterans, and the 1.9 million currently living post-9/11 veterans. We hold them all in our hearts and our minds today. My father fought in Europe in the Second World War, and when I was growing up, he never talked about the war, and I didn't understand that. But just before he died in 1992, he wanted to go back to Europe, and I took him there. And we visited some of the battlefields and cities where he'd been posted, and he wasn't much interested in those. And because they had changed, and the cities were different for 50 years, as were the battlefields. But what really attracted him, and what really we were there to see, although I didn't know it at the time when I took him over there, was the cemeteries. We visited many cemeteries in 2 weeks, and he looked for particular markers and particular names, and was very moved by them. And what I realized at the time was his story of the war was the story of those who did not come back. And that's why he found it very difficult to talk about. So we remember today, as Mark said, those who do not come back throughout American history, in each generation. The 4,400 who did not come back from the Revolutionary War, the 2,200 who did not come back from the War of 1812, the 13,000 who did not come back from the Mexican War, the 618,000 who did not come back from the Civil War, the 2,400 who did not come back from the Spanish-American War, the 116,000 who did not come back from World War I, the 605,000 who did not come back from World War II, the 36,000 who did not come back from Korea, the 58,000 who did not come back from Vietnam, the 323 who did not come back from the Gulf War, and today the 6,607 who haven't come back from Iran and Iraq. We honor their memories today. And we should also remember, for each of those who did not come back, there were 2 parents and 4 grandparents and a brother or sister and a husband or wife and a son or a daughter. And as we stand here, warmed by this Georgia sun and by the fellowship with one another in a field of American flags flying freely, free as Americans, we need to remember there are many families, because of these sacrifices, who faced a colder and emptier future. These families are no less veterans for their sacrifice to us all. Someday we all hope and pray that mankind, in the words of Isaiah in the great gospel song, will lay down its sword and shield and study war no more. We hope that will happen someday. But until that does, each generation of Americans has had to prepare for the opposite. As president of GPC, I am proud to have all you student veterans here as students. You are living lessons. And as you get your education here, you educate your classmates and the rest of us in ways we wouldn't get otherwise. And as an American, I am grateful for your sacrifice and service and for your devotion to duty, honor, country. May God bless you.
Thank you everyone for attending. We have refreshments available in the breezeway, and it's open to everyone who's here and student veterans. We need to, we're not retiring or anything else like that. Thank you all. Have a good day.